Welcome back, dear friends, to the second part of making some more Heraldic Clarion Door Horns. Now, in the last episode, you may remember that I kept scratching one of the horns. This very morrow, I've managed to get it put together. Brilliant, and the screw put in there without scratching anything. I need to make a load more of these junction boxes. Each one comes with a junction box. You can connect it to your existing piece of wire that goes to your doorbell switch or whatever. So that's one, and possibly if someone buys an extension piece of wire, that's 2 per unit. So I need to follow my plan, Stan, and start cutting and drilling. Well, that's nice. I found a piece of wood, an off-cut that's been floating around for ages. It's just the right size, but it needs to be cut down to 40mm wide. So I'm going to do it like this, arranging. I think I can get about 10 out of that. So rather than doing it on a bandsaw, because that is just awful cutting along the grain on a bandsaw, I'm going to use my bench saw outside. This is one of the very rare occurrences where I'm actually outside. There wasn't room. I used to have this in the workshop, but there just wasn't room for it at all. I wish I'd had more room. There we are, 40. And of course, always with the guard and the raving knife. Let's get this cut. It's just so much quicker. What an absolute joy. Health and safety. Safety first. It's my watchword. I always wear safety goggles when using the bench saw, because if something goes wrong with a bench saw, like the work catching or something, it goes wrong incredibly quickly. Best to be safe than sorry. So to avoid compound errors whilst using the bandsaw, I'm going to sand it afterwards. Actually, I'll start properly. It's so nice with a new blade. I'm going to use a sort of jig. It's pretty handy because it's got all my common measurements marked on it. Extractor on. I'll tell you what, having a sharp blade is an absolute joy. It's amazing what you learn to put up with as it slowly gets blunter. That's lovely. Right, now I'll just sand the edges, get them all nice and square and smooth. I just had to show you this. I've cut through a knot and sanded it. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, the wonders of wood. That's absolutely gorgeous. And of course, the other bit as well. That's lovely. Anyway, now I need to drill holes in these. Stop getting carried away. With a beautiful 30mm diameter Forstner bit, I'm going to set up some sort of vague jig type arrangement on the pillar drill. As I have, well, there's 2 holes in each thing, so that's 20 holes to drill, and it's so much easier if you have a jig. It just takes 2 blocks of wood. That one lines up that way, this one lines up that way, and I've set the depth thing on the pillar drill to the depth. Let's give it a go. Oh dear friends, Forstner bits are lovely. I'm just going to stroke it a little bit because it's just so gorgeous. Completely flat bottomed holes, and they just cut so beautifully. A clamped down machine vise should suffice. Little play on words there. A little bit noisy, but not too bad. And that leaves us plenty of room for the chock-a-block connecting blocks. It seems a shame to drill a hole through that lovely bit of grain, but never mind, needs must. Oh, lovely, look at that. So, holes drilled, lid cut. Now I need to drill the pilot holes for the 2 roundhead brass screws that fix the front on. 2 more handy bits of wood later, and we're ready to drill holes. Sort of. Yeah. I've got the stop on as well, the vertical stop. Check the lid fits. If the lid fits, wear it. Whatever the expression is. Yeah, perfect. I'll get the others drilled. One interesting thing to note, at least I find it interesting, is that these are made with subtractive manufacturing techniques. That's subtractive because I've subtracted a load of material to get the end product. However, these ones are made from additive manufacturing techniques, or using them. Especially things like the horn that was injection moulded, that'd be additive, yeah. Just like 3D printing is, laser cutting is subtractive, sort of. Anywho, enough about additives and subtractives. Let's get on with staining now. It's very hot today, mustn't grumble. I wonder how Ziggy's doing. Where is she? Oh, bless her little cotton paws. Oh, her head on the pillow. Oh, what a joy. See what happens when I stain it. This is the lovely thing about wood stain, is it doesn't hide the grain. So you still see the grain, but it all looks lovely and beautiful. And there we are. I'm not going to film this because it's rather boring. It's difficult to do, trying to keep everything in shot. So they're stained, so whilst that is drying, I can consider another major problem which I considered in the last episodescope video. How do you get one of these sent through the post so it arrives at the customer undamaged and in pristine condition? Now thankfully, on the back of this piece of paper, I've made a note of how to convert a Nepnet Throbwell box, double thickness box I hasten to add, that's a Nepnet Throbwell, into something to hold one of these, because obviously this is square, and thankfully I can, by making slightly different folds. Again, it's just so complicated. I could get these made up by the company I use to make up the Nepnet Throbwell boxes, but it costs so much money, and then I'll just you have to buy 24 minimum, so I'd have loads of these sitting around for years, just waiting for the rainy day. It's not worth it. So it's always, that's the interesting thing about all this sort of batch production. Weighing up the most efficient way of using your time, money, effort. You don't want things sitting around that are really expensive as stock. I love it. It's great fun to do. But sometimes it doesn't mean spending a lot of time fiddling around with cardboard, changing the shape of boxes. Still, mustn't grumble. Actually, I will have a grumble, because I sell all my products, all the things that I make, these inventions that I show you how I go about making them, on Etsy, the huge American company who specialise in online selling of sort of arty-farty creative people's constructions and things, the products that they make. And it's been going well. I did start off with a little shop on my website but gave up because it was too much to manage it, and that's great. I list all the listings. Etsy then, or customers then find on Etsy, they click place an order, I get sent the information, package it up with the postage and send it off. And Etsy always go on about how they only charge 6.5% commission. Fantastic, really good value. Plus all the other charges like bank charges, people use the Etsy bank or something or other. It adds up though to about 10-11%, which is still okay. I can cope with that. My profit margins are quite low, as you can see by the amount of time and effort that goes into making these machines, and because they're a special item, you can't charge that much for them. So it's very difficult to juggle the costs. And then a couple of years ago, Etsy said, "Oh, you're really lucky, you're doing so well that we've decided to force you to go onto this Offsite Adds scheme, where we're going to charge you 25% commission on anything you sell as a result of someone finding your Etsy shop by clicking on an advert on a different platform like Google or something like that. 25% plus extra costs and things." That makes it unaffordable for me. That's just ridiculous. But I thought, okay, I'll try to argue with them. They said, "Oh no, you'll be absolutely thrilled to bits when you find out how brilliant this is." You know, when it's a one-way system, you can't go back. It's not optional, that it isn't. You're never going to be happy with it. But I let it go, and then I've just recently been doing my accounts, my tax return. Ooh, the joys of spreadsheets and getting everything in the right columns and annotating everything. Oh, lovely. Talk about a little bit more OCD there. Most satisfying. And you can download reports from Etsy that tell you a variety of different bits of information, but none that tell you this is what the customer paid for this item, this is what we charged you, this is what you got paid. None of them will do that. You can find out what you got paid, you can find out what the customer, but I thought this is all very, very suspicious. Call me old-fashioned, if you will. So I thought, okay, this time I downloaded all of the customers, what the customer had paid, and totaled that up, and I downloaded another spreadsheet, and obviously the spreadsheet's all back to front because they use the American dating system, which I cannot get my head round, and you can't download a financial year because obviously in the US they have different sort of year dates and things, so you have to download two and then try and figure out which one goes first in which order to the set. But I managed that, and then I downloaded the second one for the deposits that Etsy have paid into my bank this last financial year. And when I calculated the difference, it was 20%. 20%, that's a fifth. So it means that so many people are clicking on Offsite Adds to find my shop and then buy something that I get charged 25% commission plus costs on. I can't afford that. So I contacted them and spent on online chat for about half an hour until they did finally admit that, yeah, you're right, the reason it's so high, the percentage, is that it's the Offsite Adds scheme. And I said, well, can I come off it? No, you can't come off it, blah, blah, blah. So I'm stuck. What I did was to put up all my prices on Etsy by 10% because, you know, it sort of fills the difference and means that hopefully I can continue to function as an effective business without actually, well, breaking even basically. And I haven't sold anything since. I did point this out to it. So I said, look, I've two alternatives. Go somewhere else or put my prices up, in which case I won't sell anything and you and I will both lose out. I haven't sold anything in 2 weeks. So there you go, Etsy. So if anyone has got any options, any thoughts about where else I can sell all my machines, I'd be really grateful. I've looked at Shopify. That seems to be the next most popular one. I really don't know. I'm a bit stuck now because I can't afford to build new machines unless I sell machines. So I'm completely stuck. Oh, bring back the old days where you'd have a monthly specialist magazine and you could just put a repeating advert in the back with an address. Oh, it was so simple in those days without all this wretched online things and all these people who creep out of the woodwork once they sniff a bit of money and, oh, I want a bit of that. So I'm stuck. Any thoughts? Greatly appreciated. Right, let's get on with folding up and origamiing some boxes. I do love a production line, even if it's a very small one. I've got flaps and things setting down there. I've got my ruler jig thing to fold it. I've got the new bit to glue on the bottom, taping the bottoms up. I've got two done so far, and I'm going to cut lids out of pieces of this corrugated double thickness cardboard on top. Oh, the joy of watching, it's not a bad horror film, The Ruins. It's kept me entertained whilst making boxes and things, so that's alright. Well, the boxes started off a little bit wonky, to say the least, but needless to say, double thickness lids with spacers inside to provide support. I did, however, end up realising after a couple of tries how to get them almost rectangular. Oh, safety slippers. So that's good. The next thing is to put them in there with one of those and some other bits and pieces. The instructions tell me 1.5 metres of new bubble wrap. None of your old second-hand used bubble wrap. Oh no. Actually, it was referring to the width of the bubble wrap. Right, so let's get on with all that then. First thing is to polish the wood stain to make it all shiny. That's better, shiny. So I've got them done. Reading my instructions, 3 screws, 3 red rule plugs and 1 5-amp two-way adapter or whatever. No, connector. There's the connector that connects the wires to the Clarion with your existing front doorbell wires. non-powered, obviously. There's the 3 screws to hang the Heraldic Clarion, too many names, and screw that to the wall if you wish. Although, I must remember to stick all the sticky fixers things on the back, the foam pads, just in case you'd rather do it that way, and the 3 wall plugs. And luckily, all these bits fit inside here, which is handy, so I get them all filled up. With the addition of one of these lovely squidgy things to stop stuff rattling around. Look! It reminds me of those things that competitions used to do when you were a child, or at least I did, possibly with myself. How many things you can get in a matchbox? Well, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in there. That's not bad. And I forgot to mention, of course, that it comes with 2 of these cable clips, and I had more with other junction boxes. I hope that makes sense. So that gives about 5 layers of bubble wrap, and I pack a little bit extra underneath to protect the bottom of the horn and where the wire comes out. And then that, yes, that's lovely. And then I fill the rest of this with the void fill, which I'm probably going to run out of, as I've still got all the nets to do as well. There's 6 more boxes to go off there ready. So I need to, where are we? Clarion Door Horn on my top secret stock inventory. I will cross that out and put 6. Fabulous. Now, tomorrow, which is Wednesday, is my son's last GCSE exam. And he's going to a restaurant with some of his friends, and eat all you can restaurants, needless to say. And then he's bringing some of them back here for karaoke. I don't think the karaoke machine hasn't seen so much use in years, but it's convenient in a way, because if you remember, I'd started on the Heraldic Clarion, so I packaged up some net throbbles, but I've got to do that. That's nice, because that will free up an awful lot of space. And having finished these 2 projects and got a load more stuff in stock, it will be lovely to tidy the extension. I do get joy out of doing that. I've got limited amounts of room, and it's great to get everything sorted out, especially all the boxes. I think I'm going to put them outside in my box shed, and then I can get all of the new boxes and things up here on the shelf of stock, or whatever it is, the hanging shelf of stock. This is how I check that I've got everything included in each kit. I've got the checklist showing me how to put it all in the box, useful, with, most importantly, 9 written on. So, we've got the plumbing fittings already fixed in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then I count it again the other direction, then when I'm happy that it does equal 9, I pack it all in. And then, of course, you have to put everything in a certain way, the most efficient way. And it all holds itself together, which is lovely. The box needs to be this big because, as well as the wooden part of the kit, with all the bits of wood for the enclosure, somehow you've got to fit a horn in. And that's the last bit. That goes diagonally. And then that just fits perfectly. And that's the smallest box that it will all fit in, hence the need for all the void fill, which I'm always wanting to be mean with. It's like cotton gloves. I'm still using some from the first packet I bought about 10 years ago because it just seems wrong. Don't put too many of them in. Thanks very much for watching. Not sure what the next video is going to be about. Something exciting though, I assure you. Just remember that if you order something on Etsy, if you get taken to it through an advert on a different platform, don't click the link. If you see something you like the look of, open up Etsy, go to Etsy, search for it in Etsy, and then the person who made the item will not be ripped off by 25% commission plus costs. And please let me know if you have any ideas about where else I can sell all of my machines and inventions, as it's now 2.5 weeks and I haven't had a sale at all since putting the prices up. Thanks again for watching. Hope to see you next time.